and welcome to Philadelphia Federal Credit Union's Saving for Children webinar. So glad to have you with us today. Today everyone is in listen only mode, and there is no chat feature available on this webinar, but if you want to communicate with us, any of the panelists directly, you can use the question box, which is on the dashboard on the right-hand side of your screen. We are going to have a chance at the end today to answer any questions you have. So if you think of something, put it right in the question box now. So again, right on the dashboard, you will see the questions section, and you can enter a question at any time. All right. Just a couple other little housekeeping things I want to make you aware of. There are 2 handouts that are available also on your dashboard. So you should be able to see Savings for Children handout and speakers bios. So we have a limited amount of time today, not able to give you all of the details of our wonderful speakers, but I did include some of their information right on the side, so you can take a look at that. If you are interested in getting a copy of the slides emailed to you after the presentation, please put your email in the question box in the dashboard and we will follow up with you there. All right, without further ado, let's get started. All right, so just quickly, I want to get a sense of who is here today. So I am launching a poll. I want to know, are you a member of the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union? So a poll should pop up. You should be able to answer. Super quick, are you a member? We're looking, a lot of members here today, which is great. For those of you who are not members, welcome to everybody with us today. A little bit about Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. PFCU, like other credit unions, we are not a bank. We are owned by our members. And typically this means we don't charge the amount of fees associated with commercial banking. And our profits are returned to our members in the form of lower fees and better rates. All right, so awesome, thank you guys. So just in case you're curious, a lot of members here today, but some folks who are not, so wonderful. All right, one more quick question. I'm curious, have you attended a PFCU webinar in the past? So just take a second to let us know if you've been here before. All right, wonderful. Oh, you guys are great. Okay. All right, so a lot of new folks, a lot of repeats, and really glad to see you here again. All right. Okay, so I will take a moment to introduce everybody speaking today and everyone who's joining us. We have Toni Corinealdi. She's the Director of Community Partner Engagement for Fund My Future. And in 2020, she oversaw the statewide expansion of Fund My Future, making this unique savings opportunity available to all families in the state of Pennsylvania. So Toni is going to be telling us all today about how awesome Fund My Future is. And she will be up first today. And then we have Ryan Buxton. Ryan is a field representative for the Bureau of Savings Programs for the Pennsylvania Treasury Department. These programs include the Pennsylvania 529 College and Career Savings Program and the PA Able Savings Program. He also promotes the Keystone Scholars program. And so he's going to be sharing information about all of those programs today. And then we have with us Sarah Dieleman Perry. She's the Director of Economic Opportunity at Neighborhood Allies. The Economic Opportunity Initiatives at Neighborhood Allies address racial and geographic gaps in income, wealth, and opportunity by increasing knowledge, hope, skills, and assets. And again, you can take a look and see a little more about the speakers in the speakers bio handout, which is on your dashboard. And so I am Erin Ellis. I am the financial educator and counselor for the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. And I planned this webinar today as a parent myself. I found all of this information to be extremely helpful and useful, and I wanted to share it with as many people as I possibly could. All right, and so this is the plan for today. I already talked a little bit about who's speaking, but we're going to talk about savings account options for children and some saving strategies. Then we're going to have Toni tell us all about Fund My Future and the savings pledge and raffle. And Ryan's going to follow up talking about the Pennsylvania Treasury program, like the 529 and the ABLE program, as well as Keystone Scholars. And towards the end of the program, Sarah Dieleman Perry is going to lead us in the question and answer section. And I do have some excellent resources that we've all compiled together that I can share out with you at the end. So a little about some of the savings options we have for children at PFCU. So we're going to talk about different ways. Some of what we'll be looking at is sort of long-term savings. These accounts that we have at PFCU are great for really engaging your child in their savings and having them become an active participant in what they're saving for and how they're saving. So we've got a few options here for kids. Moola Moola account is an exclusive savings club, and this is for children 12 years of age or younger. So the account does require a joint owner, someone over the age of 18, but a Moola account is your child's account that's going to help encourage them to save and earn that financial independence. Club members receive Moola Moola quarterly newsletters and birthday letters. Something really good to note on this is that the account can receive direct deposit or a portion of your direct deposit. So if you're a parent and you want to send money into your children's account, this is a great way to do it. You can have your job send a portion of that right into your child's Moola Moola account. Once your child turns 13, the account will automatically be converted to a See You Succeed account. And these accounts are designed specifically for members who are 13 to 17 years of age. It allows the kiddo, if you're good with it, to have an ATM or a debit card. So this way they're transitioning into having their own account once they turn 18. So they get the experience of really having a checking and a savings and getting to use both. You'll also, as a See You Succeed member, you get a free quarterly newsletter written by teens, for teens, and you're eligible for the annual PFCU scholarship program. So really great opportunity. If you are interested in one of these accounts for your child, please, this is a great time to put your email into the question box, because we will be able to, if you sign up after today's webinar, we will be able to fund the account for you with the first $5. So fun opportunity today. If you're interested in opening a Moola Moola Kids account or a See You Succeed account for your child, please write your email in to the question box. All right. We also have a program called Sage Scholars Tuition Rewards at PFCU, and Ryan is going to mention this. This is a rewards program that you can link up with your 529. You can link it up with your PFCU accounts that you do have already. There's no cost to this program, and it just sort of gives you free money that you might be able to use to college. So really a fun program. And again, it's included in the resources. All right, so I want to know, how are you going to save? What is your plan for savings? Because savings works best when it's automatic and prioritized, just like any other bill or obligation. We want to fit it into our monthly spending plan, right? Set it up like a bill. Of course, automatic payments are not for everyone, but it's really important to make a plan on what we do with our money, whether it's monthly or periodically. The plan is the most important part. So I have just a few suggestions here. I'm going to talk through them briefly, and then I'm going to ask you to choose for yourself. I want to know, what is your plan to save? So these are just some ideas in saving for kids. Are you saving automatically, right? You're going to transfer it into your savings when you get paid, or ask your employer to split your direct deposit. Do you like to plan for periodic income? This means if you're getting a tax refund, you plan ahead. Again, the plan is the most important part. Are we getting another stimulus? Or when we do, what's your plan for that, right? So people who plan ahead tend to actually save more money because they made the plan ahead of time. I also really like the special occasion gift. This is something that either you can do on your own or you can ask other people to do for your child, right? It's Christmas and family says, what do you want to give your kid? Well, you can always suggest to save for them. This can be a type of reward for report cards, birthdays, holidays, whatever makes sense for your family. Just another idea, separate your emergency savings. Make sure your child has their savings somewhere different than your emergency savings. Or are you, what are you going to do to make a savings plan, right? You can take a savings pledge, and this is what Toni is going to talk about in just a moment. But I'm going to share the last poll. I want you to think about, what is your savings plan? And you can choose more than one if you have more than one savings plan. But I want to know. And when it comes to savings plan and savings pledge, it's a great idea to discuss the plan with your children. It's never too early to talk to your children about money. For example, we had in my family a no-buy January where we tried to only buy things we need. And my 4- and 5-year-old were totally on board, and it was shocking. My 5-year-old even helped me sort of stay on track. So take a minute and just answer those questions in the poll. How are you going to save? What's your savings plan? And you can choose more than one option. All right, a couple more seconds for that. 3, 2, 1. All right, so pretty well spread, but looks like folks like to save automatically. And that savings pledge, we're going to boost that up from 24% to higher. So then I will turn it over to Toni from Fund My Future.
All right, thank you, Erin. Thank you so much for that information. And I'm glad to be here today. My name is Toni Corinealdi, and as Erin mentioned, I am the Fund My Future Community Outreach Director. Next slide, please. So our vision and our belief of Fund My Future is as stated. We see children and their families taking practical steps that transform aspirations into reality and build confidence in the future as part of a statewide savings movement. We see children graduating from high school familiar with the practice and power of saving. And what I'd like to add to that is just graduating from high school, knowing the power of saving instead of waiting until after they graduate to try to figure out, is power that they will be able to use for the rest of their life. And our beliefs is as stated, savings is an American problem, not a poor people problem. Equity considerations drive resources and resource allocation. Addressing America's savings problem requires a full civic mobilization and fidelity to research from fields of behavioral economics and children's savings, and primacy of respect and relationships and sustainable operations. And these are our beliefs. Next slide, please. So what exactly is Fund My Future? I'm not sure if anyone in attendance has heard of Fund My Future, but if you have, please put that in the chat. We'd love to know. And if you have heard about it, please let us know how you heard about it. So Fund My Future is a children's savings program available to all families with children from birth to age 18 in Pennsylvania. Adults can enroll in the program through an online portal. And then after you do that, then the raffle tickets are drawn monthly as incentives to families to make deposits into their children's account. And I do want to stress that when it says adults can enroll in the program, that's what we mean. We mean adults. A child, any adult that has a child or is connected to a child. So grandparents, you can take the Fund My Future pledge as well. You can enroll and start saving for that grandchild. Aunts and uncles, you can do it as well. And of course, parents can do it for their child in their life. And in February of 2020, we partnered with the Pennsylvania State Treasurer's Department, making more saving resources available to families, of which you're going to hear shortly after my presentation. Next slide, please. So how do we get started? Well, we started back in Propel Schools in 2013. And the reason being is because the research has shown that children with bank accounts in their names were 3 times more likely to graduate and 3 times more likely to go to college and 4 times more likely to graduate. And that in itself was the driving force that made Fund My Future start at Propel Schools in 2013. And then with over a third of the Propel students saving for their future, Fund My Future later expanded into a countywide program through Allegheny County in 2017. And then as recent as February 2020, we expanded with Pennsylvania State Treasurer becoming a statewide program. And we're really excited about that too. Next slide, please. So how exactly does it work? Well, you'll get a chance to experience how it works shortly after this. I hope you have your cell phones out, and I hope you're ready to take the pledge because it literally takes 2 minutes to take it. If you only have one child, you could just enter with one child, but if you have more, you can do it with more children. It'll take a little bit longer. But any adult residing in Pennsylvania, as I mentioned, any adult, it could be a grandparent, an aunt and uncle. This is a universal program, so it's for everyone. There's no income limit. This program is available to everyone. So basically, you will enroll in Fund My Future by taking the pledge, open an account with any financial institution on behalf of any child age 0 to 18. And yeah, if that child's age 0 and a little bit older, guess what? You'll be hearing some more info from the Pennsylvania State Treasury because they have a lot of resources available for little ones too. And then you make deposits and you start to earn monthly raffle tickets. So if you already have an account for a child, no worries. You definitely need to enroll in Fund My Future. It's easy to sign up. All you have to do is go to fundmyfuturepa.org, which is on the slide. You should see it, www.fundmyfuturepa.org. And most importantly, I want everyone to know, we're about encouraging savings, not spending. So there should be no withdrawals. If you make a withdrawal during the month and your raffle ticket is the winning ticket, you are unable to claim your prize. Next slide, please. So you heard me say raffle ticket. Yes, so that's what makes us fun. That's where we emphasize the fun and Fund My Future. So how can you win? And what can you win? How about that? What can you win? Every month, we have 65 cash prizes up for grabs. Yes, you heard me right. 65 cash prizes up for grabs. So that's 5 $1,000 cash prizes and 30 $50 cash prizes, and then another set of $50 cash prizes as well. So that's a total of 65 cash prizes up for grabs every month, and you can win back to back. We've had it. We've had back to back winners. So basically all you have to do is make a deposit of at least $1 a month, And we had a $1 winner who won $1,000 last month. The best way to do that is to set up automatic feature. That works best. This way you don't have to physically go into the bank and make a deposit. Again, most importantly, I said don't make any withdrawals because that will forfeit your opportunity to win, even if you are holding the winning ticket. Check your emails and websites on the 1st of the month because that's when we post the winners. But don't worry if you don't get around to checking it, you will receive a phone call from yours truly. Next slide, please. So these are some of the places that you can find Fund My Future. As you can see, we're heavily involved in the community. We're just about anywhere in a community, and that's where you will find us. And all those smiling faces that you see on there are Fund My Future winners. Everyone loves it when they win, and everyone's so happy. We love it. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be in Fund My Future. Next slide, please. So by now, if you haven't already, this is where you would take the pledge. I'll give you a minute to go to www.fundmyfuturepa.org. And this is where you would just put in your email address. This is where you'll put your name, your mailing address so that we can mail that check to you if you were to win. And remember, you have to be a Pennsylvania resident in order to be eligible to win. And then you would put the information of the child, the birth date of your child. Remember, this is for any child age birth to 18. And then you would select how much you want to save. And don't worry about how much you want to save. As long as it's $1 or more, that's all it takes. $1, you can put $1 in there. And whatever amount you put in there, no worries. You don't have to stick to that amount. You don't have to, you can always change your mind. It's no biggie if you change your mind with that. And then the next option would be, where do you want to save? And that could be a 529, a bank, or credit union. And whichever one you choose, again, you can change your mind. If you say, oh, I want to save at a bank, but then after you hear this presentation from Ryan, you're like, no, I think I want to do a 529. That is perfectly fine. We just need you to select some things in order to get started. And then after that, the next question is going to be, when do you want to start? And you could, your options is, I already did, I'm already saving, which is great. You can select that, or in a couple weeks, or the next day. Just pick one. And again, you don't have to stick with that because once you complete all that, it'll say, where are you taking the pledge? This is very important today for everyone on here. You are taking the pledge at the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union session, okay? So that is where you're taking the pledge today, and you click the button, you're done. Well, of course, you got to put select the children that you're saving for. You put their birthday and everything. I already said that. And then you select done, and you're done. You are done. Woo-hoo! Congratulations to all of you who already took the pledge, because you are done. You took this step just to get you started. It was really, really easy to do that because now you're going to get messages from us reminding you to make a deposit. Our parents love the reminder messages. And then you'll also get our newsletters where you'll see all the people who are winning. And we just encourage and motivate you to save for that child. So I'm so proud of you for taking the pledge. And I want to share a video with you. And if we could go to the next slide, please. So, as I said, I'm so proud of you, and you should be proud also. And I want to congratulate you on taking the first step towards saving. This is just the first step to saving for your child's future or that special child in your life. So I wanted to share a video with you of a congratulations message from the entire Fund My Future team. So if you could play the video, please, that would be great. Okay, well, congratulations again, and you really should be proud of yourself. And if we could just go to the next slide as we prepare to conclude my session. So now that you've taken the pledge, now what? Hey, well, guess what? This is you're just on a roll to being connected with a lot of savings information that you would be so excited to receive. If you already have a savings account for your child, you will receive a raffle ticket. You will receive a raffle ticket on the 20th of every month. And then you can check the website to see if you're a raffle ticket with a winning ticket on the 1st. And as long as you made a deposit, you are a winner. You will receive a phone call from My Future, and you'll just complete a short survey. And remember, no withdrawals. No withdrawals. If you want to make withdrawals, please utilize a separate account for that. But this account is no withdrawals, because the whole purpose is to save for that child's future, so that when they graduate from high school, they will have a cushion to help them to start their journey. If you need to establish a savings account, to be sure, we want to make sure that you attend session 2, which is really going to be Ryan. You'll be hearing from him, and he's going to give you information about some amazing resources that they have. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is Fund My Future PA, and you'll be able to keep up with what we're doing. So that is all I have left. I think the next slide is the end. So I think it's my contact info. So if you could go to the next slide, please. There we have it. So if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, and we'll be sure to get all your questions answered at the end of this presentation. I want to thank you for your time. And now I'm going to pass this over to Ryan. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you, Toni. And all I got to say is, wow, folks, if you're not energized right now, I know I am. I mean, that's Toni's always a tough act to follow. Got to make sure to keep everybody on their feet here. So first and foremost, I want to thank all of you for participating today with the Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. Again, my name's Ryan Buxton. I'm a marketing representative here at the Pennsylvania Treasury Department. And today we're gonna talk a little bit about some of our savings programs too, and we're also pumped up to team up with Toni and her team as far as savings goes. Because the number one thing with Treasury as well is we want people to save. The more you save, you'll hear it from us. The less you have to borrow down the road, especially with our college savings program families. So next slide, please. We'll go right into it. So we have 3 unique programs, folks. Some of you might have heard of some of these. I know we did some major marketing blitzes. Pennsylvania 529, PA 529. You've probably seen our logo out there we actually changed our name recently to Pennsylvania 529 College and Career Savings Program. Okay, so it opens a door for a lot of people to do different things. I mean, not every child when they're growing up is going to go to college. Maybe they want to go to a technical school, a beauty school, a culinary school. Absolutely, you can use these accounts for those schools as well. Second, I'm going to talk briefly about our Keystone Scholars program. This is a new initiative that was started a couple years ago through Treasury. Treasury's, again, our main focus is getting people to save. And the Keystone Scholars is giving $100 out to every baby born in the Commonwealth after 2019. And I'll explain that to you. The idea is getting people to think about savings right when that child's born. I know for me as a parent, when you have a child, the last thing you're thinking about is opening up a 529 account. You're thinking about diapers, daycare, a car seat. How am I getting the kids home from the hospital, right? Keystone Scholars is going to give you that little jump start, that $100 to get you thinking about it at an early age. And last but not least, our PA ABLE program, ABLE Savings Program. We did do a big marketing blitz last year all over the Commonwealth to let people know about the ABLE plan. ABLE is a savings plan for people with disabilities, and I'll just touch on that real quick as well. Next slide, please. So the PA College and Career Savings Plan. We're going to talk about this first. Next slide, please, Aaron. So you hear us talk a lot about the 529s. The PA 529, we always say when I talk to families across the Commonwealth or groups like this on webinars, we always say it's a tax advantage way to save for college. And people look at you and like, the tax advantage way to save for college, what exactly does that mean, right? First bullet point on this slide is a big one. You get a Pennsylvania state tax deduction, up to $15,000 per year per child. So if you open up a PA 529 account, you can make contributions up to $15,000 if you file single. If you file married and have taxable income, that goes up to $30,000 per beneficiary per year. It's a huge number. What Treasury does is we use the federal gifting limit, which is $15,000 set by the IRS, and we use that to let people use that as a tax deduction under state income taxes. Just to give you a quick example, just south of us, I'm just full disclosure, I live just a little bit south of Harrisburg area on this nice snowy day today, but just south of me here, about 30 miles down the road is Maryland. Maryland has a similar 529 plan, but in their state, they give their residents a $2,500 tax deduction. Again, Pennsylvania, as a PA resident, you're getting $15,000 per beneficiary. Earnings grow state and federally tax deferred. They grow state and federally tax free when using it. You can use it for schools here in Pennsylvania or schools out of Pennsylvania. We get that question a lot. If I open a PA plan, do I have to just, does my child have to go to a PA school? Absolutely not. You can use this program wherever FAFSA is accepted. That's the federal financial aid. So pretty much 99% of the schools you hear across the country participate in federal financial aid. As long as they do, you can use these 529s. And just to let you know, folks, 529, that's simply just an IRS code, okay? Every state has a 529. Most states have 529s, but that's just a federal IRS code. There's no contribution or income restriction. It doesn't matter how much money you make. You can open these accounts up to. And we also have some great rewards programs. And a big one, too, if you have a loved one or a child going to college, it is not counted on the PA financial aid application, which out-of-state plans are counted. That's a big deal when you're applying for financial aid. So let me just hit on real quickly. I know Erin brought this up a couple of slides ago during her presentation, but you can see we do participate with FIA. We also participate with You Promise. I'm not sure, some people might be familiar with that. You get like a key fob. So if you go out to dinner or maybe go to the grocery store, pump gas, you can swipe your key fob. You're actually earning points where that turns into real money to use towards college expenses. The other one is Sage Scholars. I know Erin briefly mentioned that, and I'll talk about that. And I like to explain it when I'm out there talking to groups of people. I use the analogy like it's sort of like frequent flyer miles, right? So if you have like a United credit card and you're swiping it for airline miles, same thing with Sage Scholars. Sage Scholars is it's a free rewards program available to families who use our guaranteed savings plan. And it's based on the value of your GSP account. How it works is it reduces undergraduate level tuition at over 380 schools across the country, and we have over 55 here in Pennsylvania. Those are private colleges and universities. You can simply go to tuitionrewards.com. They have a list of schools that participate with them. But if your child doesn't go to one of those private schools, no big deal. It just sort of just disappears, just like a frequent flyer mile if you haven't used it. Go next slide, please. Guaranteed savings plan. I'm just going to touch on these slides real quick. The GSP, it stands for Guaranteed Savings Plan. This is our most conservative plan. Pretty much it's $10 to open an account for either the guaranteed or the investment plan. But how it works is it's managed by the Pennsylvania Treasury Department. If you want to open an account online, it takes roughly 5 minutes to open an account, and you'd have a GSP account open. When you go to open the account up, it's going to ask you to pick a tuition level at which you'd like to save at. We have 5 different tuition levels. We have an Ivy League, private 4-year, a state-related, a state system, and a community college average. So you would just simply pick an average, and when the tuition inflation goes up with those schools, when they raise tuition each year, that's how your money's going to grow. You're actually buying, you're actually making contributions, you're purchasing GSP credits in the GSP account. The nice thing about our guaranteed savings plan also too, folks, as you can see on the screen, we're very proud of that. We're over 130% funded. Most states would be happy to be 100% funded with their plans. We're over 130%. So it's a very, very strong program here in Pennsylvania. Next slide, please. We also have the investment plan. This is the other plan we offer. We call it the IP plan. We have 7 different investment options. We have 3 age-based options which are extremely popular, and we have 14 individual portfolios which you can pick from. You can have up to 5 total combined portfolios. Again, that's set by the IRS regulations. Also, too, there's a $10 minimum, again, to open these accounts, to make contributions, just like our guaranteed savings plans. Very low fees. It's managed by Vanguard, where, again, Treasury manages our guaranteed plan. Vanguard manages our investment plan. They're located down in southeastern Pennsylvania. I will say we are very proud of our Morningstar Silver Medalist Award. We just got this award, I want to say, a couple of months ago. This in the 5 to 9 industry, this is a big deal. This is a rating which ranks among some of the best 5 to 9 investment plans in the country, and we're happy to say Treasury is now silver rated by Morningstar. Extremely big accomplishment that we're proud of. Next slide, please. So you open an account up, you're probably thinking, what can I use the money for? A couple things. Most people think 529, you only can use it to pay for college tuition, right? That's why you're saving for college, of course. It's actually more than that. You can actually use it for, listed here on the screen, mandatory fees, room and board. As long as your student is considered a half-time student going to college. Most schools are like 12 to 15 credits for a full-time student, so 6 to, let's just say, 8 credits. As long as they have a half-time student rating, they can actually use the money for off-campus housing as well. You can use it for books, supplies, special need expenses, computers, folks. Believe it or not, a couple of years ago, computers were a non-qualified expense, which means if you took money out for a computer, you're going to pay taxes on it. The IRS changed that rule a couple of years ago, so now computers are qualified. You can't use computers. Also, too, anybody out there, any folks out there listening to me right now that has any children in K through 12, private school, whether it be a religious school or a regular private school, you can use up to $10,000 a year out of your 529 account to pay for K through 12 tuition only expenses. This is something new. It was passed in the tax code back in 2018. So you can withdraw money out of the fund up to $10,000 per year for private school tuition. Also, too, something new that we just got information on a year ago. You can also use up to $10,000 to pay back student loans after 2019 going forward. Before, you could not use these accounts to pay back student loans. So these are some new things that are evolving with the IRS that are changing. Again, the 529 again is a federal code. So when they make changes at the federal level, it just trickles down to us at the state level. Next slide, please. We're just giving you a quick slide here showing as little as $25 if you open an account over 18 years can be a savings over $10,000 when that child is ready to go to college. The bottom line, and just like Toni said too, I mean, with Fund My Future and with Treasury, I mean, our focus is saving. Unfortunately, Pennsylvania ranks number 2 in the country as far as student loan debt. This is a stat that we'd like to rank number 50th, of course. Anybody out there know who number 1 is? I wish I had a poll here to answer that question, but believe it or not, it's New Hampshire. They're number 1. Pennsylvania is number 2. So that's a number. The average student debt in Pennsylvania is $37,000 when they come out of college. So we're trying to get this number down. That's why we teamed up with Toni, Fund My Future, obviously, and the Savings Pledge to try to get people to save. And the more they save, obviously, the less they're going to have to borrow. Next slide, please. So the next slide, we're going to talk about the Keystone Scholars plan real quickly. Next slide, please. Keystone Scholars, this is a great program, brand new. People are extremely excited about this. Any babies born in Pennsylvania, born or adopted, excuse me, going forward in 2019, get a $100 get started type deposit grant into a Keystone Scholars account. Next slide, please. We're going to talk a little bit about that on the next slide here. So how it works. So we did a pilot plan real quickly, just give you a little history about Keystone. Back in 2018, we did a pilot plan, 6 counties across the Commonwealth. I think a lot of us knew on the call here from the Philadelphia area. Delaware County was actually one of our pilot counties close to you. But anyways, we did a pilot plan where any babies born in that year got $100 just to see what the temperature was out there for Keystone Scholars. It took off. People loved that they could have a child and all of a sudden they're getting a free $100, right? I will tell you the $100 that we are giving out are not taxpayer dollars. I want to make sure it's clear to everybody. We are very blessed to have teamed up with some of the biggest nonprofits and philanthropy groups in the state to help fund this program. Okay, so no tax dollars are being used for this program. It's quickly just a $100 get started deposit into your account. It's going to grow. How it works is it's going to grow in a Keystone Scholars account. It's going to be linked to one of our averages in the guaranteed savings plan. So you're going to be capturing tuition inflation growth over the next 18 years. And how you would actually access that money is you need to open up a PA529 account so you can link it together and you can make those withdrawals when that child is 18, ready to go to college. It's going to grow over these next 18 years. Next slide, please. Information and registration online is simple. Pretty much what you're going to need when you register is the birth certificate. You can go on to pa529.com/Keystone to go on to register. And I'm going to show you real quickly. Next slide, Aaron, please. For eligible families, all we need, folks, is you just need to put in the child's birth date, right? You can see on the screen here. And also for expecting parents too, about when the child's going to be born. It does take a little bit of time, approximately 4 to 6 months after the birth, to actually get your account going. And the reason there's such a delay, and I'll be fully transparent with all of you, is because we have to get the records from vital statistics. We have to, the way that we know that you had a baby with your birth certificate, obviously is comparing the records with vital statistics. Once the records are received and compared, the money then is released into the Keystone Scholars account. Next slide, please. Also new for 2021, this is a brand new initiative that just started this January through this June. We're also giving an extra $50 out to anybody that's any families and mothers that are currently on WIC. This is unique to WIC recipients. Okay, so if you just have a baby born January 1st through the end of June, you can go ahead and register for your $100 for Keystone Scholars. You can also claim that extra $50. Just an extra savings incentive. We're trying to get people, again, to think about savings, and we want to get moms enrolled that are enrolled in WIC to get these kids saving at an early age. So we're giving an extra $50 incentive for that. That's unfortunately a short window, January 1st to June 30th of this year. So right now it's open to those parents, to those mothers. Next slide, please. Now we're going to talk real briefly about the PA Able Savings Program. Next slide, please. So the PA Able plan, Able actually stands for something, folks. It's an acronym. It actually stands for Achieving a Better Life Experience, okay? Able was set up because we've heard a lot from the people in the disability community. It was set up as a savings plan just like the 529 college savings plan, where these accounts are going to grow state and federally tax-free, except instead of people in ABLE accounts using it for college, which they still can use it for education, of course, they're going to use it for basic living expenses. Okay, this program just went live in Pennsylvania in April 2017. I can tell you we're one of the fastest growing in the country. We have over 48 million in assets and about 4,600 accounts statewide. Next slide, please. So with the ABLE account, unique with ABLE accounts is that you get protection. It's going to protect you from any means tested benefits. In other words, if you're receiving SSI or SSDI, or if you're having any state waivers, the ABLE plans will protect you from losing those kind of waivers. People on SSI out there, you're capped at $2,000. Now with an ABLE account, you can have $100,000 in ABLE and not have to worry about losing SSI benefits. If you would go over that number, your SSI would be suspended until you jumped back under that number. You wouldn't have to reapply. There is a $15,000 cap per year on ABLE accounts, again, set by the federal government. Also, too, we have some great benefits as well. There's no state taxes on this. Also, it's exempt from PA inheritance tax, as well as you are protected from creditors in case you would come under any kind of financial stress. Next slide, please. There is eligibility for this program, folks. You do have the qualifying disability had to start before the person's 26th birthday, okay? Even if you're 76 listening to me right now and you had this, and it started before your 26th birthday, you would still qualify. It's just that the disability had to start under the person's 26th birthday. That's the federal law. There's currently legislation right now that we're trying to raise this. They're trying to raise it to 46 at the federal level. I know Senator Casey here in Pennsylvania is one of those co-sponsors. Fingers crossed we get this passed. We also have 8 different investment options. We have investment options plus a checking account. We also, you can sign up for webinars. We just did one yesterday as well. We have it on our website. Simply go to paable.gov to learn more about those webinars and other resources. Next slide, please. We also have a disclaimer. We tell everybody, please check out our disclosure forms. Make sure you understand any risks, tax implications that you have with these accounts. That is at the end of our on our website as well. You can definitely check that out at your leisure. Next slide, please. And I just pretty much gave you a PowerPoint that was an hour. Try to do it within 15 minutes to just keep up with time here. But if you have any other questions, our websites are available, toll-free numbers. We do have a live call center Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. We have people there that can answer your questions. You will talk to a live person. We're proud of that. My contact is on the screen as well. I want to thank everybody again on behalf of State Treasurer Stacey Gary and the rest of our Treasury team. We want to thank Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, Fund My Future, all of you for participating today, and I'd be happy to take any questions. It's all yours, Aaron. Go ahead. Thank you.
Great, thanks. And just 1 second before Sarah gets going with questions, I just want to remind everybody that on your dashboard, there are 2 handouts. One is the speaker's bio. The other one is the great resources. So like Ryan said, all of this was squished into a short amount of time today. So you can find whichever resource is going to be most relevant to you, and it'll be right in that guide. So open it up now and save it so that you have it. All of our contact information is in there as well. All right, I will hand it over to Sarah to lead us through some questions and answers.
Great. Thank you, Erin. And thanks so much to Toni and to Ryan for great presentations. This is Sarah Dieleman Perry. I'm the Director of Economic Opportunity at Neighborhood Allies. And Neighborhood Allies is based in Pittsburgh, and we're a partner with Toni of Fund My Future. And so the questions, you've all been very patient. We're going to start out answering some of the Fund My Future questions, and then we'll go into the Pennsylvania Treasury questions with Ryan. So Toni, a couple of questions just about what Fund My Future is all about and who it's for and who's eligible. Is Fund My Future only for Pennsylvania residents, and what age of child can you be saving for?
Thank you, Sarah. Those are really good questions. So yes, Fund My Future is for Pennsylvania residents. You have to reside anywhere in Pennsylvania and save for your child. And it's for a child, excuse me. It could be for any child. And as far as, what was the other question? The age of the child?
The age of the child, yep.
Yes. So the child can be anywhere from birth to age 18. So birth to age 18.
Okay, so you can be saving for the child until basically through Fund My Future until the child turns 18, right?
Right. Once the child turns 18, You can still be saving for that child, and you have to pay attention to the financial institution that you've established a savings account for that child. Because most financial institutions, not all, but most of them, once that child turns 18, then it's converted to a regular savings account, and you will receive some type of notification from the financial institution letting you know that that time is approaching. And if you haven't received anything, you should definitely reach out to them, because at that time, that's when fees can be imposed, so you want to pay attention to what fees will, start to incur, if any, and how can you avoid them, because there's always ways to avoid them. Like if you don't want to get paper statements, that's probably a way to avoid a fee. But it won't happen while the child is under 18. But once that child turns 18, and there we have no fees with Philadelphia Federal Credit Union. I love it. See? So, but you definitely want to, pay attention to that as the child turns 18. And then there are some financial institutions where, they allow you to stay under, within the no fee range when they're like up until 21 or 22, something like that. So I hope that helped.
Yeah, and so since you're talking about bank accounts, Toni, there were some questions specifically about bank accounts. And I just wanted to let folks know, there was a question about what are the interest rates and does the account need to be for college? So Fund My Future doesn't have any rules around that. The Fund My Future rule is simply that the account needs to be in the child's name, and that the account needs to be for the child, and include the child's name on the account. And it should be a long-term savings account versus an account that you're, taking money out as well. And so in terms of the interest rate, that really depends on the bank account or the type of savings account that you select. So you can talk to Aaron about that if you're a member of the credit union. But we don't charge, Fund My Future doesn't charge any fees or interest. You wouldn't receive any interest in the account from Fund My Future apart from what you would receive from your credit union account or your bank account. And then the question about, does the account need to be for college? Toni, do you want to answer that one?
Sure. The account does not, you do not have to use the money for college. So it doesn't have to be for college. It can be for trade school. It could be for books. It could be if you're saving with, it depends on where you're saving. If you're using the 529 as a vehicle, then that would have to be for saving for college, for trade school, for books and things like that, and other things, as long as it's for educational purpose. But if you're saving with a credit union or a bank, the account is, you are the custodian over that account for that child. So basically, let's say if your child decides that they want to pursue, they want to just try life out and see, how things go, and they want a vehicle to help them with that. So there you will have the funds available to help them get started in that aspect. Right. So,
okay, great.
One thing that I did want to add, though, Sarah, when you were asking about, when they were asking about the interest and stuff about Fund My Future, I wanted to also say, we are the motivator. We motivate you. We motivate you to save. So you get reminders, hey, go save it wherever you're saving. We don't have any of your banking information at all. So wherever you're saving at, that is the interest rate that you get. We motivate you to save. We push you to save. We push you to make deposits. We remind you. So that's what we're your cheerleader. We are cheering you on with a big band. Okay. So that's what I'm trying to get you to envision. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, Toni. So an easy question to answer is, can multiple adults sign up for one child? The answer is yes, right, Toni?
That answer is yes.
Okay.
More the better.
And can a person win more than once? That answer is also yes.
Yes, we've had a 3-time winner. She couldn't believe it. Yeah, so that answer is yes.
Okay, and there was a question about where does Fund My Future get our funding? We are funded through grants, grant donations, and we get funding from organizations that want to encourage families to save, and we're expanding geographically. So if we get funders that are interested in more outreach in Philadelphia, for instance, then we can do more outreach in Philadelphia. Right now, Toni and I are more focused on Allegheny County and Pittsburgh, but we'd love to be able to expand the reach because Fund My Future is for everybody across the entire state. A question about, oh, this is a good one. Do we need to open an account for children before we enroll in Fund My Future? Toni?
No, you don't. Just indicate in the select on there that no, I don't have an account yet. I'm going to get started later. That's it. You don't have to have an account right now. You don't have to, or you could. It's whatever. We accommodate everyone. As I mentioned, we're a universal program and we're available to everyone. So if you don't have an account, just go on there and go on and enroll, and you'll hear from me. So just go and take the pledge and you will hear from me.
Okay, and a question that just came in, if you already have a credit union account for your child where you're already depositing money each month, do you still need to deposit $1 a month to join Fund My Future? No, you're already doing it. So all you need to do is take that savings pledge on the Fund My Future website. So go there, take the pledge, and you're in.
And you could be a winner. See, I'm telling you, you would really, really feel bad if like, Dad, I didn't take the pledge. Because you could be a winner. It really happens that easy. I'm telling you, it really does.
Okay, I have two more questions for Fund My Future, and then we'll go on to Treasury programs. When do children receive the money from Fund My Future after they turn 18? So this is your money that you're depositing. So you're not going to get any money from Fund My Future unless you're a winner. And then if you're one of the $1,000 winners, Toni, do you want to answer that? What happens to that prize money?
So if you're a $1,000 winner, you will receive, and you could, you have to complete the survey. It's real quick, simple. And you'll receive a check after you provide verification that you made a deposit. You have to provide proof that you made a deposit, okay? That proof will be a copy of the statement showing the deposit. And on that statement, we're only looking for deposit activity. And we're looking for withdrawal. If there is a withdrawal, we cannot accept, you won't be able to receive the prize. Now, when you submit the statement, you can black out your account number and you can black out the balance in there, because we're not looking, we don't need that information. We're just looking for activity showing that you made a deposit. And as long as it was a $1 deposit, you can, you'll be eligible to get that prize. You'll get $500 in the form of a check. The other $500 will be sent to the Pennsylvania State Treasury, and it will sit there and it will wait on your child to graduate. And then that child can use it for future educational goals.
Okay, we are running out of time and I apologize. Ryan, I think we have time for a couple answers if they're quick.
Go for it.
Is Coverdell the same as a 529?
Yeah, Coverdell is an educational account. You can roll Coverdell into a 529. They're both educational accounts. It's just it's a little bit different as far as the benefits you'd have with a Coverdell compared to a 529. You'd have more benefits as a PA resident with a 529.
Okay, great. Are there resources available to compare different states' 529 accounts?
Great question, and thank you for all the questions too. You could definitely go on our website. We have PA529.com. You can look at rate history. We have history of like our past performance, what our portfolios have done. By all means, you could obviously check out like Nevada plans or like West Virginia plans or other states. I'm just using an example. Pennsylvania is unique, folks, because we're run by the Treasury. We're not a brokerage sold plan where you could go to like your financial advisor. They're going to get you a plan somewhere else out of Pennsylvania because we're not a brokerage sold plan. We're a state-run 529 plan.
Okay, really important question. Are funds in 529s counted when applying for financial aid?
So for federal financial aid, you have to disclose your balances. With state financial aid, is not counted for FIA. No, that's one of the benefits with PA. But yes, you do need to put down your assets on the federal FAFSA application.
Okay. And Aaron, do we have time for answering any more questions, or do we need to get these questions out to people and answers out to people in another way?
Well, I suppose that's up to the audience if people can stick around for a couple minutes. And if not, between the resources and our contact information, we can certainly hopefully answer them differently.
Okay. Okay, great. Yes, please reach out to all of us. You're asking great questions. So this is a Ryan question about Keystone Scholars. Does Keystone Scholars only apply to newborns or kids of any age born after January 1st, 2019?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's for children born statewide after the 2019. So babies born or adopted. You obviously can adopt a baby as well too. That would qualify as well for Keystone. But yes, after 2019. My kids, unfortunately, are maxed out. I can't do my kids either. But great question. Thank you very much.
Yeah. This is another key one about Keystone Scholars. Is Keystone Scholars only an account for the $100, or is it a savings account that you can add money to over time?
Absolutely great question. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, Keystone Scholars it's just picture that $100 in your mind. It's its own little entity. Okay. As long as you link it with a PA529, it's going to grow by itself. That $100, maybe it's worth $210 by the time the child's 18. It's going to grow, right? It's going to grow on its own. But in order to take advantage of that free money, you need to open a PA529 account up. And what you do is when you open it, you link it with the Keystone Scholars. So if you have to pay for books or a computer, or maybe you're paying for a child's meal plan, you can use that money for that. Great question.
Okay. If kids decide to apply for financial aid outside of Pennsylvania, what's the impact on the financial aid package?
So you're still going to need to, I just went through with my kids, full disclosure, I have twins that are freshmen, right, in college. So I'm a parent as well as also working for this program. So I had to sit down, let me rephrase myself. My wife, who does a fantastic job, sat down and had to actually do all the financial work. You have to disclose all your assets, and it's extremely important for folks with FAFSA. Even if you're not looking to take any loans out, it's also going to determine how much scholarship money those schools are going to give your children, even if it's out of Pennsylvania. That's going to be it's an important part of determining how much money they're going to give you without even taking or applying for any loan. So to answer your question, yes, you need to, you're going to have to put down your assets, and then with FAFSA, they'll review your financial situation to determine how much money your child's eligible either for free scholarship money or for loans.
And here's a question about PA ABLE. If a child becomes disabled, can a 529 be converted to a PA ABLE account?
Absolutely, great question. The answer is yes, and that's a recent new one. So what happened if you had even if you didn't have a PA plan, say you had a Nevada plan or whatever PA 529 college account you have for your child, it's called a rollover. You can simply take the money out of that account and roll it into a PA ABLE account. There was no taxes, fees, or penalties for that rollover, where 2 years ago, yes, you would be taxed on the earnings, but no. As of right now, absolutely. A lot of parents will open these accounts up and realize my child has a disability, they're not going to go to college, and then they'll go and open up a PA ABLE account and just roll the money out of a college account into the ABLE account. Great question, though.
Okay. A couple of questions about Fund My Future related to how Fund My Future relates to banks. whether the Fund My Future program follows if you decide to change banks. Yeah, Fund My Future doesn't care what bank or credit union or 529 how you're saving. So if you change banks or decide to change in another way, save in another way, you don't need to tell Fund My Future. You don't need to re-enroll. You just keep doing what you're doing. And then there was, I think there was a related question. There were several questions, Aaron, about MULA accounts and about credit union accounts. And so I don't know if you want to answer those or have folks follow up with you later.
I can just quickly speak about them. And I've been looking through the questions and trying to answer some of them as I go too. If you are interested in signing up for a MULA account for your child, it's just a regular savings. And MULA account is a great way to qualify for Fund My Future for the raffle too. So if you are interested in the MULA account, you can drop your email address into the question box and I will email you a secure application so that we can put the $5 in. We can open the account on your behalf, and then it really takes the legwork off of you for that. So just put the email address in and we will follow up with you from there if you're interested in a MULA or CU Succeed account.
Okay, I'm pretty sure we got to the end of the questions. If you still have questions that are unanswered, feel free to reach out to any one of us.
Wonderful, thank you, Sarah. And lastly, I think this is, Ms. Toni said, a good way to close. I want to share too my experience with Fund My Future. So this was sort of all, the idea of this webinar today came from my experience with Fund My Future. So I was a winner of the Fund My Future raffle. So I saved, I'm one of those, I know someone shared in the questions. Yes, right? I know, see, Toni's very motivational. The only voicemail that I get that I'm like, oh, well, I don't ever mind to listen because she's very encouraging, such a good cheerleader. So I do save a little for my kids every month. And in my case, it's in the 529, but it doesn't matter whether it's in a MULA account or a 529 or somewhere totally different if you're saving for your child. So I got the phone call from Toni and she said, you won. And then I went and said, okay, this is where I've been saving. And I showed that proof that I have been saving $500. I happen to have 2 children. 500 went into the account of one of the children. And then since I got the check for the other 500, it went to the other child. So really awesome. And that money, of course, is going to be able to grow because I have time on my side when it comes to saving for the kiddos. So super excited. It's really easy to sign up and then you just are entered to win that raffle, which is great. Okay, excellent. So if we don't have any additional questions, don't forget to grab that resource, and I'll leave the questions open for a minute or two so that if anybody else is looking for information, you can communicate to us this way and we will follow up with you. And I think that's all for today. If you do have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. And many of you will be getting a response from us, whether you ask for the slides or information on signing up for a MULA account or something else. We will be in touch. And once we're done, if you could fill out the survey that pops up, it would be a great help us in planning more programs moving forward. All right, and thank you again so much for attending today. And thank you so much to the speakers and the other people presenting with me. I really appreciate your time and all that you do around saving for our kiddos.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.